I
bet we got some other public forum
I
folks.
just have one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I won't take up much of your time.
How are you, sir?
Hi Ed, good to see you. Lincoln, Jill, Dave, John, just like an old Susanna. I forgot your name. Hey, good to see you guys.
That's Inspector Ray.
Inspector Ray. Hope the winter treated you well. Hey, I just came by, I'm here to learn and listen, and I just want to understand the process. So the permit was extended at the last meeting. I did get a letter.
Permit, we're now talking about the Afton permit.
Imagine
Would that be
that.
correct?
Yes, sir.
One of the Afton
One of the,
Is it more than one? So that's why I'm here, just to get clarity on this. What does that mean? So there's more than one permit and there was an extension, maybe could you just give me some
Well,
background?
As with every permit, we have a set of rules.
Yeah.
If you exceed or meet one of the rules, you have to have a permit. If you're doing a project, a development, even a single-family home with a very long driveway could trigger the thing. It's 6,000 square feet of new impervious.
Right.
So that's not much. 6,000 feet is less than a tenth of an acre.
yeah.
So a little more than a tenth of an acre. I mean. So it's not very much at all. So it turns out that Afton is doing a very big project, so they have to do a permit. The permit was broken up into several, I don't know how many permits they're going to do. Is it just two, John, you think, or?
Well, Mr. President, managers, they obtained a permit for the wastewater treatment system last year, and they applied.
Facility.
It's the facility itself.
Facility.
Facility,
In the
yes,
area,
process.
yeah, not the pipe.
And then they applied for a permit for the village improvements, village developments. That includes some wetland work, and so there's the Minnesota Wetland Conservation Act permit as well as the Valley Branch Watershed District permit, but they applied as one permit for the overall project. But
We did
they'll
those
have to get
together
two
now.
permits, one from Minnesota Wetland Conservation Act and one from Valley Branch.
And then,
So they were working with John to develop the permit, and that's also very much by the course, because he's able to clue the developers or anybody who's going for a permit as to what the rules are and sort of what the board generally accepts if there's variances from the rules. And can help them to get in conformance, which is what we all want, protect the water. We have a requirement by state law, I believe, that we have to respond to a permit that's issued to us within 60 days. And the permit was given to us, and John responded with the issues that need to be fixed up. They were not forthcoming, but it's a live permit. So we had to do something with it, so we did extend it. We could have also turned it down, and they could reapply, and that's possible, not a problem. For 60 days, we're able, again by law, to extend it 60 days by a vote of the board, and we did that. Now, if they don't come back with the completed permit, then we'll have to do something else, but that's where it stands right now. And that's no different than any development within the whole watershed district would be handled exactly the same way.
So John, this could be directed to you, so then it's under two permits, so it's where maybe the holding pond is, next to the effigy mound, is that one of them?
No, the two organizations basically permit, there'd be Valley Branch Watershed District permit for the project.
Correct.
And because Valley Branch Watershed District is the local government unit responsible
Yeah.
for administering the Wetland Conservation Act, there's also this Wetland Conservation Act. But it's one permit for all the street improvements, for the stormwater ponds, for the infiltration basins, for the pipe, that's all one permit application.
so it's everything in the village that's being done, and I think the pipe that goes up the hill. And then there's a permit for the facility that receives the waste that goes up the hill.
Correct. So it's one permit, so it's two permits, you guys.
It's basically two permits.
So they divided it up, or when you, cause I came in and read the information, I read your correspondence, and I read your letter. And it was quite complicated and I think very thorough. I think you talked about not granting them the extension if they didn't meet all the demands. And so I think they must have met all the demands, even though,
They're still working to address all my comments.
okay, so that process is in process. And so then that permit, and I apologize, I'm sorry, so that permit is for really the whole project, then, correct?
No, it's
So
always,
everything but the infiltration facility.
it doesn't include the facility that was permitted last year.
Right,
Okay, but they still don't have that permit, was my understanding.
which,
The facility
Well,
itself.
they have our
they
permit.
have one from us.
You
Oh,
can't build
oh.
anything anymore without a whole handful of permits from many
Right.
different agencies, but they have ours.
Okay, so that's good, so there's two, and this latest one was just more for the downtown, not the site.
Correct.
Okay, that's great.
And the only connection is the pipe from downtown to that
Literally.
site. That's part of this current permit.
Yeah, that is the connection, right? Okay, so then, this is my question then, so I went through all those, all that stuff, and so, and do you guys know that there's, the 106 process has been kicked in? And that over 54 comments were made in December and 11 tribes?
What's the 106?
Oh, the
Is that
historical.
the native,
Yeah,
what is it?
so the 106 is, when there's federal money, they've gotta do this process, and, they, threw in the comment period, to end December 31st, and at the 11th hour, 11 tribes, 54 comments, and I brought in just one for you, but I mean, there was a,
Basically, it doesn't really matter, we don't have any jurisdiction over that, and we can't really get involved in things that are not in our bailiwick. Our bailiwick is to protect the water, that's what we do. We don't protect Indian mounds, there's other guys that do that.
well,
So,
could I just,
you know, it's
ask
not,
one-
it doesn't make any difference to us, really. I had
That's
a permit a couple of years ago where the parking lot was kind of big, and there were citizens came in and yelled about the parking lot. I'm sorry.
But
we
aren't
don't-
you funding the
we don't do
stormwater
parking
pond?
lots.
Aren't you
Yeah.
funding the stormwater pond? Are you funding that?
Funding the stormwater pond.
yeah, I mean, you
Aren't-
guys.
We are providing some funding for the project.
Okay, so
as
then
a
you
whole.
are a
Whole
part of it.
project.
Right, so I guess, so we stay on track.
No, we,
Yeah, we're talking about our authority.
Yeah,
as such.
and I think, and Joe, you might know this too, because we talked about this a year ago with the FG mount and the rattlesnake FG mount, and then the catfish. And then also, Lincoln, I noticed that you had sent Susanna some, documents that I had sent you a year ago about Bruce White's comment about how the FG mount is literally, the holding pond that's adjacent to it, the south pond, actually overlaps into the effigy mound. So that pond itself actually is on a burial ground. And I think that's where this whole 106 process kicked in with all the tribes. So I think there is
Didn't the historical society review all of that? And
they did initially, and Lincoln, that was what you sent to Susanna, but now they re-reviewed it because there was a lot of miscommunication, shall we say? And maybe some denial as far as if there was an existence of an effigy
I
mound,
think
so.
that when we talked with Aft and that particular, there was something about the pond and the effigy mound or whatever, and the pond did not impinge upon it, I think is the information that we got. Does that ring a bell?
I don't even remember, I'm sorry.
Wildly incorrect. That's
Did you get
why,
that?
so, I mean,
So, but, yeah.
had you guys heard that there was 11 tribes that had commented on this and 50 comments about 106, you guys had no,
my question is the designers, are they looking to move the stormwater ponds? Is there another option for a relocation to collect sediment from the project? Is that happening?
I'm out of that.
And
loop.
That's part of Washington County
Right.
and the road construction
Well-
from 21.
True, in the front, because in the front, there are burial mounds actually in the front of, like the Richmeyer property, the Peabody home, where they found skulls and bones, and even in this latest one, they found, mammal bones, so, you know what, I am shocked that you haven't heard about it. I know you work at the MPCA, they toured the site, they toured the MPCA. I was surprised that there was not a single word about this from anybody, and I know that you had some concerns about the permit, so this has never come up to you guys at all? So if that's the case, I need to be better at informing, you about what's,
The only pertinence I can see is if eventually, after all of this goes on, and there's a ruling that says they have to change the pond,
Mhm.
if they can make the pond substantially the same size and things like that that are in the permit, they're okay. If they have to make some gross changes, then the permit becomes invalid. You could probably guess that. And, then they would have to revisit the situation.
right,
But as far as it playing out, we have no role in that. All we wanna do is see that the thing is built properly if it gets to that stage.
And maybe that will be halted, maybe in this process, because now you're saying that there's so many people involved, maybe
Well,
it's
there's
not gonna
tribes
go forward.
involved, I mean, it's a nation.
But how have they
nation.
engaged the
Yeah, government,
MPCA and Washington County to slow down or relook at how the road is being constructed? Is that occurring right now?
You know, Joe, I don't know, I'm not privy to any of that information, and,
I mean,
Yes.
none of that has to do with the surface water runoff and the control of that and the management of that, which is not to say that one doesn't impact the other, but,
what's it, like, I'm sorry, you mean the
Well, I
road or
mean,
the effigy mound and the?
yeah,
open pond?
none of these issues that are sort of going on outside of our purview really have anything to do with where the stormwater goes in terms of, our need to participate until a plan is presented that says, this is what we're gonna do. And if it, if everybody else has,
And-
once this gets figured out, then,
Yeah.
we'll, if it's in the right place at the right time, then that's okay. If it's not, we work with it.
If I could add something, okay, so you're not privy to certain things, right?
Most things.
You don't have, can you access other folks, other agencies that are involved in this and see if you can get pertinent information? We always want
Okay.
our citizenry to give us information, but you already understand what they've said, and that's essentially that we're limited in our role. The engineers, everybody brings this stuff to us and they say, here's what we have,
Right.
and we make these decisions based on law and everything. I know you're an intelligent man, so I'm not,
That's a question,
you get my point.
yeah.
So, are there other agencies that you can contact to address these problems, or can you talk to other citizens or other people to address these problems to see if this is an issue that could maybe either stop, or change, or affect this project? You get it?
Yeah, I mean, you guys know this is, it's way bigger than me, I'm not even, I'm a.
It's
a
way
grain
bigger
of
than us.
sand. Yeah, I
It's way
mean,
bigger than us.
yeah, I guess the real question I have is at this point, I mean, this has been such a public process, it's gone through the last, this is what it's been through. I like the documents that were comments from a year ago that are now coming up as very important. WSB is working hand in hand with the MPCA and the tribes. You're working hand in hand with these guys. They gotta be talking about it.
Yeah, talking about stormwater management to conform to Valley Branch Watershed District rules and regs.
Yeah, and then as far as, I mean, because literally, that holding pond, from what, the tribes have said and others, that literally cuts half of the snake in half and is really on a burial ground, and so they, I'm sure, and I don't know this because I'm not in that arena, but I'm sure they're talking about how they go through that process, and I don't even know what the 106 process is, but, so they're not even talking to you about that? Because that's what struck me when I read all your stuff, was, wow, there's not a single word about the rattlesnake effigy mound, which is literally, touches that south end
Well,
stormwater
What
pond.
if there was an earthquake and a fissure opened up there, you know? Would we jump in and worry about that? No, not really. We wanna know if the permit's still valid. That's what we worry about. We don't worry about other kinds of issues.
I mean, I assume that the Army Corps of
We have
Engineers
limited
and
responsibility,
the
that's all.
State Historical Society and, you know, PCA and whoever are involved because of the historic nature in question, which is appropriate.
I mean, it's
And once
an
it's
issue that
solved,
should be
yeah.
looked at,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
but not by us. That's what we're trying to tell you, Jim.
Yeah.
Right, and if they're in violation of law or codes
Right.
or something regarding
All
that,
sorts of things.
then they have to look at that and bringing that to their attention.
Well, they are
Is
by
an
law,
important thing
they
to
are,
do.
they are by law because of the 106.
Yeah,
And so, and I think then it's remiss either for the MPCA or AFTA not to be communicating with you guys about that process. Absolutely, I think that's true.
Especially when they have money coming from you and permits coming
Towards
from
that
you.
thing. So anyway, I'm gonna, can I just?
Of course, yeah,
This,
yeah.
and then you can, all this is just, this is just shows how the FG
it's
model.
not that we're not interested.
You can email them too.
Yeah, yeah, well, I'm not gonna get, and this, this is the same one that this is the current version of what you had sent. And this just shows the FG mountain that 2 years ago was like a tourist attraction.
Sure.
And this kinda shows them probably the new owner's bones.
Okay.
But you guys can, they're all yours.
Okay, well, no, seriously, we'll look at that.
But thank you, I apologize for taking all this time.
No,
I
thank you,
thank you for
Mr.
the
Gold.
education, and I will, if it's okay with you, I'll send you a couple emails, just so you're informed about the process of the effigy mount as it relates to the stormwater.
I'd be curious to see what the process is with the MPCA and how that communication is going with the Historical Society. Are they at an impasse? Are they moving forward? Are they gonna do some redesign? I mean,
Can you
that's
find out?
what I don't understand.
I mean, Lincoln, you're MPCA guy, you know
Yeah,
this
I'm
stuff.
not plugged into any
How many
of that.
people
He's
work
a
for
data dinker.
I mean,
He looks at
Well,
computers.
I'm buried in a
What about the
computer.
whole chunk
How
filing
many
that?
people work for it?
They
Right,
fine?
well, like, for example, I mean, I will send you some of the
Bunch
comments,
of
and,
thousands.
for example, the Ho-Chunk sent, I mean, literally, the legal representation of this tribe has sent powerful letters demanding that this process halt immediately.
And what is the
Please, like-
agency saying? What are they doing?
I get nothing. I call up Corey, nothing. We can't tell you a thing, you know, nothing.
So is it
I
in
get
a
no
holding
correspondence.
pattern? Are they just,
Pardon me?
is it in a holding pattern?
I
Are
have no
they
idea.
evaluating?
They're going through this, you guys know the 106 process. You must.
I'm not
Everybody?
familiar with it. I mean,
The federal,
I don't
and you
do
know it.
much research.
Sir, have you been to the Afton Town Hall meetings?
Oh, yeah, I go to, I do my time. I listen, I do my
Time,
speech.
exactly what
I
it's
do,
called.
you know, but there, you know,
Well,
most of the
Mark,
stuff.
maybe Mark knows something. Mark, pipe up. You're sitting there
Are
quietly,
you
trying
an
to
acting
hide.
guy?
You may know something. Do you?
I just got back from Texas a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, there's an
I'm not a
excuse.
spring
He has no
breaker.
comment.
Holy.
You're an
No
acting guy.
comment.
So,
And I would like to make.
I wish you guys would have told me the snow was gonna occur. I'd have
Oh, you could've
postponed
stayed
my
a
trip
couple
back.
days, yeah, yeah. Ma'am, I would like to mention that we support a lot of different things that impact, cleaning up or keeping water clean. And, our reason for supporting this project is that if the project is done, there will be a whole lot of phosphorus that will not reach Lake St. Croix. Okay, and that's important to us. That lake is close to being in bad shape for phosphorus and,
Well, that's fine because, you know, all the wells that are
if-
surrounding it will have all the other chemicals.
now, the
Because
last
you
thing-
guys wouldn't let the
last
permit
thing
go.
Is that, if the project doesn't go through, we're gonna wanna get our money back because we're interested in the effluent of the water.
Yeah,
That's, you know, the sewage that's put into the lake every time there's a flood, and
It's
there's
not a
floods a lot of
one-way
times down there.
Right, well, maybe you should
Right.
look at
That's our issue.
alternatives. I
Well,
mean,
just that-
you were
just
gonna
like-
look at
I
alternatives.
mean, there is the Kells Creek program, which I'm in love with. I mean, they're taking care of that in a very good way. I think the 201 is suspect, for some time now. That was the latest, greatest, and that's, adding a great deal. I mean, there's, you know, there's major issues here. I know there's, something has to be done. I'm not arguing that. just want everybody to be informed and so on.
What's 201?
201, tell them, Joe.
God, you got all these numbers on the top.
Who knows?
Are you talking about the old septic mound?
Yeah, the 30-year-old one that was the latest greatest and has been,
It's failing,
compromised
Spewing.
for a long time, and it's spewing.
and it's flooded.
And it's also currently, it should be a holding tank that's pumped, and right now they're still letting it leak into the beautiful. That's the truth of that matter.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening.
Really?
Yes, really.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, you didn't know that?
yeah.
Allow
No, I
that
didn't.
to happen
Yeah.
for, years,
Just rolling into the river.
straight
Gotta
away.
Stop that.
So,
Okay.
Well, okay, I mean, that's.
Mr. Golden, email us about that, please.
okay,
Please.
I will. Absolutely. Good to see you guys. Thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sir.